The music in this video is brought to you by Kasket. They're a music licensing company that offers unlimited access to over 80,000 tracks from about 2,000 different artists. So if you're looking for music for your YouTube channel, Instagram, and etc., you should definitely check them out. Lined up against the eyelets. And then once I did that, it looked something like this. Hey there, it's me, Shania, and I'm back again with another video for you, my friends. Today I'm super excited to show you how to make this super cute stretchy corset lace-up top. And yeah, let's get into it.
Shania, Shania.
If you're new to this channel, my name is Shania, and on this channel I have loads of sewing tutorials. Some of the tutorials are from things that I've made from scratch, from fabric to finish, and some of the tutorials are of garments that I've upcycled and refashioned. So check it out. Here I am just taking my top and I am folding it where I want it to end, well, where I wanted it to end originally, and then I just made a mark with my chalk, and then I'm using my ruler and my rotary cutter mark a 1/2 inch below that line, and then I am extending the line, and then I'm folding my top in half so that the side seams are stacked on top of each other, and then I am marking along the center fold of the fabric, and then I am marking 1 1/4 inch away from the center, and I'm drawing a straight line down, and then from there I'm going to cut that out. Just want to make sure all the layers are flat, and then I'm using my rotary cutter to cut that straight line. And then after that I was like, why don't I just use this to help me understand how short the top should be. So underneath 3 circles I made a mark, and then I used my ruler to draw a straight line across to extend that mark, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna cut a 1/2 inch below that mark. So I started by, actually not a 1/2 inch, a full inch, because I was gonna do a double fold. So I cut a full inch below that line, and I just extended the line here, as you can see. And then once I extended the line, then I was like, okay, let me do a double fold, or at least I thought I did a double fold, but then later on it, like, the circles weren't lining up. But anyhow, I did a double fold here, and then I just pinned it down, and then I ironed it so that it would stay nice and flat. And then once I ironed it, I used my twin needle. As you can see here, I changed the foot and the needle, and I just did a straight stitch, and this is what it looks like when you use the twin needle. A nice, like, double row of stitches, and I just hemmed all along the bottom with my twin needle. And you see on the other side it's like a zigzag stitch, which is pretty dope. And then it looked something like this. Then I took my eyelet tape and I just folded down the top edge so that it would be nice and neat and not be frayed and everything. And then once I folded it down, it looked something like this. And then I took it and I lined it up to the edge of my open top, and then I just kind of sandwiched the edge of the top inside of the eyelet tape, and then I pinned it down. And here's where you can see, like, all of a sudden I have 4 holes instead of 3. So I don't know how that happened, but I'll show you how I fix that later. So again, I used my twin needle and I just stitched right along the edge of the eyelet tape, and I made sure that the edge of my presser foot was lined up against the eyelets. And then once I did that, it looked something like this, as you can see here. And then after that, I wanted to do a stitch straight across to just really reinforce it and make sure that it would stay in place. So that's what I did. Don't forget to backstitch, of course, that's a must. And then after that, I folded over the bottom to get a sense of where I would need to cut it. So I just cut just a little below where I wanted it to end, and then I folded it over like so, and then I went back to my machine and I did a straight stitch right on top of that fold, again using my twin needle, which I love. I actually got this twin needle on Amazon, so check the link in the description. Anyway, so when I was done, my eyelets look like this, and as you can see, this is the 4 holes that magically appeared out of nowhere. And I just repeated the same thing on the other side. So again, just take your eyelet tape and then fold over the top edge so that there's no fraying at the edge, and then just sandwich it in between, and then yeah, just repeat everything that showed you for the other side. Then you're gonna take your seam ripper and you're just going to take out the stitches that hold the straps in place just along the armholes, and you're gonna do that for both armholes. When you're done, it should look something like this. So you want to take your corset and you want to try it on. If you don't have a dress form, you can just try it on yourself. Make sure you're doing it with the corset wrong side facing out, and I'm just pinching the sides so that I know how much fabric I need to get rid of from the side. But you want to make sure that you set your top the distance apart, like however wide you want the front opening of your top to be, so that you know exactly how much fabric you need to take off. Okay, then you're gonna gently take off your top, and then you are going to take out your pins, and you'll see that you have 4 sets of lines because we trace the pins on both sides, the front and the back of the left side and the right side of our seams, if that makes any sense. And here I'm just folding over the bottom of my top so that I now have 3 holes instead of 4, and then I'm drawing the lines down so that I know where to pin. So I'm just going to connect the lines so that they're on top of each other, and I'm going to pin it down basically the way that they were before I unpinned them. And then I'm going to serge a 1/2 inch away from the pins, and then I'm going to do a straight stitch on the line that I marked. So here I'm just using my serger. If you don't have a serger, then you can just use the zigzag stitch. And here I am, but wait 1 second, check out these nails though. So fly. I'm just doing my straight stitch down on the mark that I made, and it will look something like this. So now we just need to make our straps. I'm using the bottom half of my shirt, and I'm just going to cut one side so that I have like a long rectangle like this, and then I'm going to cut it in half because I really don't need all that much. So I'm going to put away one side for later, and I'm just going to use this one side, and I'm going to cut bias strips. I have a separate video on how to cut bias strips, so you should definitely check it out. So once I have my bias strips, I'm going to put them together so that I have one long bias tape like this. And then I attempted to use my bias tape maker, but I feel like this fabric was so like delicate, it wasn't really doing the damn thing.
No! God, please, no! No!
So I basically ended up making it manually. But in any case, the objective now is to basically sandwich the edge of the armhole in between both folds of the bias binding and then pin it down. And you're only going to do that for 1/2 of the armhole because we're going to connect the bottom end of the strap to the other half of the armhole. So I took it to my machine and I just did a straight stitch with my regular needle, and then I also continued sewing down the strap to make sure that it was closed. And then once I've done that, I took it back to my dress form to try it on to see how much of the strap I needed to cut. And then again, if you don't have a dress form, you can just do this on yourself. Just be careful with pinning it.
You try it. Ow! You just need to develop a callus. You see? Now that's a sewing finger, honey.
So here I'm just kind of measuring the strap, bringing it down to the back, and then bringing it over to the other half of the armhole, and I'm making a mark, and then I'm going to cut about a 1/2 inch away from that mark to allow seam allowance. So you can see this is what I've stitched already, and then this is the other half that I just cut that I need to basically connect to the second part of the armhole like so. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to place a pin right here so that I know that the strap still needs to be closed at this point, but from that point downwards I need to open up the strap so that I can attach the bottom half of the strap to the corset. So I'm just using my seam ripper and I am taking out those stitches, and then what I did was I took some stay tape and I placed it inside of the bias tape just so that I could keep both sides of the fold like in place, and it also helped keep the binding tape on the corset itself, and that made sewing so much easier because I knew that both sides were completely laying flat. So I definitely recommend getting some stay tape for this project, especially if you're dealing with like really delicate fabric like this. So in any case, after I finished using the stay tape, I just did a straight stitch the same way that I did with the other side, and you're literally going to repeat the same steps for the other armhole, and it'll look something like this. And then if you don't have some string to put inside of your eyelets, you can just use the bias tape and just cut it in half so that it's now a 1/2 inch wide as opposed to 1 full inch wide, and then just kind of pull it and stretch it out, and that will make it thin, and then you can just string it through the holes and you know, just cut off those extra areas where the bias tape was connected or the bias strips were connected. And when you're done, it looks something like this. I love this top so much, and let me know if you love it too. Also, if you're still watching, just leave me a pink emoji, something to match this backdrop. And I also want to let you guys know that I am offering free consultations on my website for a limited time. So if you have any questions or sewing project help that you need, just head over to my website. I can't wait to see you guys there. See you in the next tutorial. Ciao.